Hugh Hefner, a true American icon, created an empire that was unrivaled.
Although some of us bunnies may have gone rogue, it's because of the love and respect that we received from the man behind it all.
Because after all, we did learn from the best.
Relive the stories from the most prominent celebrity home in history.
What happens in the grotto stays in the grotto.
From those of us that lived it,
The employees that worked it,
And the guests who loved it.
And
the mayhem continues.
You just tuned in to Rogue Bunnies Mayhem. I'm Brian Olea, and we have Chuck Williams. We're talking producer, director, writer, actor. What, over 150 films?
Yeah.
150
Can you imagine?
films.
Well, I just turned 93 yesterday, so I was very happy about that.
you look great for your age.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you. I could be your father. You don't even know. It's like Star Wars. But it'd be like, Jen, I am your father.
Wait, speaking of that, did you hear about this like Mandela effect thing that's been going on? You've heard about the Mandela effect, right? So where people will say, oh, he died at this time, and then all of a sudden they do research and go, no, he just died at this time. And so now they're finding different things, like say, like the Fruit of the Loom ad is where they're saying it never existed.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Wow.
Like stupid shit like this. You've heard of this, right, Jen?
Like
We're
Bob
allowed to
Barker
cuss?
died twice.
Thank God. I like to cuss. Thank you. I forgot about a cable show. You know, last week when I was on Jimmy Kimmel, I couldn't cuss. So they told me not to. But yes.
You know, I had a point that I was going into that Mandela effect thing.
You know,
I just later
Brian,
blanked.
I tell you,
I think you said you were 93. I think I'm going on 93.
That's okay.
what just
That's okay.
happened.
No. Yeah, I know you're not.
Okay, but what I do remember, let's talk about our history, man.
Oh, we got a great history.
How we actually
how
met
did you
each other.
met?
Listen, you're the only guy I really loved every day because you were always nice to me at the Playboy Mansion. I'd pull up there. Oh, Chuck Williams is here again today. Could I park? Hef said I could park here. We don't really let, frickin' Shaq park here. And I'm like, well, I'm Chuck Williams. Oh, sorry. Okay, go ahead. I got to park at the Circle. And I remember Bridget would always say to me, Hef likes you. He lets you come up and park here. And I said, what does that mean? He goes, well, they get $10,000 if Shaq gets dropped off here to come up. I'm like, you make Shaq come in a van to the Playboy Mansion from UCLA? And they're like, yeah, unless he gives us 10 grand. So I always loved being at the Playboy Mansion. I was there for 2 years with you, and you were the greatest. You were one of the nicest people ever. Thanks, I'm not kidding.
We're adding comedian onto your whole long list. Okay, so for those that are listening, and Chuck Williams, why I ever heard that? If you were a Girls Next Door fan, you recall when Bridget wanted to do a horror movie because we all know Bridget loves horror movie. Yeah. I just spoke to Bridget the other day, but we'll talk about that. And you were doing her movie, The Telling, and we got to actually film that on the Girls Next Door.
Well, they never thought it was ever going to happen. They literally, after they taped me for 2 years and half and everybody, I'm having dinner and they go, we never thought that was really going to happen. I'm like, you asked me to produce a movie. They're like, well, we just didn't think it was ever going to happen. I'm like, well, it did. Thank you. And funny was, I sit with Kevin Burns at Prometheus because they were involved. Yeah. Remember? And Kevin was talking to Hef, and Hef's like, why would we want to do this low-budget independent movie when Robert Downey Jr. is about to do my life story? And Kevin goes, because the girls want to do it? Oh, that's a good reason. Okay, all right. And I was in. I was in for like 2 years. And they literally, I remember one time Hef said to me, he goes, I have you on the permanent guest list. Yeah. I'm like, that's huge. He goes, I let you drive up. And I'm like, I heard Shaq. Yeah, 10 grand. It's just crazy. But when I went to the Playboy Mansion, I remember one time I was out there with Kendra and everything, and it was right when we were starting to prep. But I remember one time going out like at 1 a.m, and Hef, I don't know if people know this, he had 24/7. He could call from his phone and go, I'd like to have a ham sandwich.
Yep.
And soup. And they would bring it up to the chef, remember?
Yep.
I walk out after hanging out with Kendra and all them, and I go out it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I had an expedition in those days, sitting at the round circle. And all of a sudden, as I walk out, security walked over and he goes, well, good night, Mr. Williams. I'm like, how did you know I'm here? And he goes, we know.
Yeah.
And I drove down, and I was like, they have cameras on me all the time.
They're watching.
Everywhere. I loved it. But Hef was so nice. He was so good. And he took me in. He was very nice to me. I did the haunted houses with them and all that stuff. I was involved with all those guys. Nick,
and you work with you got to work with
and all those guys. And I
set it up, or
well, no, I came in and worked for the actors. That's what I did.
But you brought in some poor actors.
No. I would go there to work with 100 and something actors on the show because I have the same when I teach. I've been teaching since '79. CWMAC, Chuck Williams Master Acting Class. So I would go to a lot of haunted houses. And so they're like, we're bringing you here. And I'm like, okay, that's great. And, they had everybody that would come. Brett Radner who would come. Everybody would be there.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, hey, how you doing? And so I remember, this is a true story. I've never told anybody this. First time exclusive for you.
Ooh.
On this station! So I'm there, and I'm on The Girls Next Door, which is, at that time, 75 plus million people in the world.
Yep. It was so popular.
That show.
Yeah.
In fact, I think if there was no Girls Next Door, there would never been Kardashians. That's my thought. Because they were before Kardashians.
They were.
They were. And so people started watching it. And then I remember when Kevin asked me to be on the show, and I remember being there at the haunted house one night. And they always go down to the tennis court. Remember the tennis court?
Yeah,
They built it. My friends would build it out there, Nick and all those guys, and Leonard. I'm standing there. I have a long jacket on. And I'm looking pretty good. And here comes Paris Hilton with her friend and this guy. And they run over and go, Chuck, because I'm on the show. Chuck, can we get a picture with you? This is Paris Hilton. True. And I went, no.
You denied her.
I did. And Paris Hilton went like this. She was thrown off. Like, what is N-O? What does no mean? And then I said, Paris, I'm kidding. She had the Indian thing. I sent you the picture. So she leans over me. I take a picture with her. And she goes, thank you, Chuck. And I'm like, yeah, all right. Thank you. You got to remember.
That was early Paris.
I don't know. Even today, I'd probably say no. But anyway.
She was petrified of that haunted house. We had an incident where she went in there and DiCaprio was with her at the time.
Yeah.
And they both went in with, the haunted house at the mansion, I think we might have mentioned it before, but we'll say it again. It
Terrifying.
was legit.
Oh, no.
Right,
Jen? It was the bomb.
Terrifying.
Rich Carell's collection
Hi,
of...
Jen.
Well, you have
Hi.
here's the multi-layers, right? So you had Rich Carell, which we've had on the show.
Yeah,
he had
Rich.
all of his stuff that we'd have in the
Who doesn't
main
love
house.
Rich?
We had a Scare Factory.
Yeah.
Scare Factory worked and did the whole haunted house.
I love Scare Factory.
You'd help come in with all the actors.
All the actors.
We'd have like 150 to 200 actors all over the property.
I have photos. I've never seen
Hank Fawcett. God bless that man.
Yeah.
That man was so into it. He would go to these conventions, these Halloween conventions,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And find all the coolest, latest props.
Oh.
And he
He'd
would
buy
really
them.
work with everyone and get these things down. And it was just what you guys did was just amazing.
Well,
But
we
back to
shot.
Paris.
But
she
go
went
ahead.
through that show, right through the haunted house.
Because we
She
would
was
go on
so-
Friday night before. The party's on Saturday night, and
Yeah.
Hef would have movie and dinner on Friday night, and all the guests. We always knew that Friday we could go and get our
Well,
first
that was
look.
the pre-show, but this was during the party
Oh,
that Paris went through with DiCaprio.
Oh, got it.
And she was so petrified.
Yeah.
She went screaming out of there and literally were like hitting the actors. And nobody got hurt. We're just saying it was just like that's how petrified it was. Like the makeup on these people was so good.
No, it was
Well,
scary.
The gags
remember
were
these
great.
parties?
It was awesome.
The stars that would come to these parties.
Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy. I'd be hanging out with Jim Belushi. I'd be hanging out with, all these guys. You remember the great Gary Marshall? I mean, I was with all those guys.
Yeah.
And I always ended up, I will say this on camera, I always ended up in the grotto. They would come to me at 4 a.m. going, Chuck, we love you. The guys with, the little bunnies, but you're going to have to take your naked body out of the jacuzzi. And I'm sorry you didn't hook up with anybody. I know. Nobody wanted to get in it with me. And I remember they said they told me, they were all saying this is true. They go, you never have to leave. And they were kicking everybody out. Remember they go,
Oh, we did the big
Yeah.
sweep. We did the big
sweep.
Yep.
They did a sweep. And I
the big
was always
sweep.
and I'd be like the last one walking around.
Because we would hang tight and be like, okay, waiting for the purging of the
purge
of the guests.
The purge. And I thought this was like my first party at the mansion. I thought this is going to be a good gig. 2 years of my life. Am I right, Jen? 2 years at the Playboy Mansion.
Listen, I'm still fired up about it.
Well, I finally lost my virginity.
Congratulations.
It wasn't at the grotto. It was in the workout room. Tell me real quick, Brian. I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
You might not get all what you want to ask me. I'm sorry. That thing that went downstairs and out to the gym. You remember those steps?
Yeah, the spiral staircase.
Oh, the spiral.
You had to be very careful on that staircase.
Dude, all I know is
or you go all the way down.
Well,
I fell many times.
I remember
it's like
going
a
down.
water slide if you're not careful.
And I would come out and I'd be scared. I'd be like, I was like, The bathroom. You remember when you came through the front door? I used to steal the Playboy, little napkins in there.
Yeah.
That were in there.
Yeah.
I would pocket one every time I came. I got like 500. I'm sure I don't know what's happening, but somebody is using those in the bathroom. We got to get rid of them.
We're going to delve way more in, Chuck. We're going to have to take a quick break.
Take a break.
I'm hoping that you can get some energy for the next
I don't have any
segment.
energy. I've been up all night.
Yeah,
I'm doing a play.
It's so boring so far.
Jen, I love you. Did we date? Just think about it.
We're taking a quick break. We'll be right back. We are Rogue Bunnies Mayhem.
The Rogue Bunnies have had some pretty epic in real life events that I'm sure you've all heard about. Wondering how you can be included in our next one? Become a VIP NFT holder. The main benefit of being a VIP is access to our events. You'll also have priority access to future drops, gated chat channels with the Rogue Bunnies, VIP-only online events, and more. Want more details? Visit roguebunnies.com. Then follow the bunny mask and get ready to go rogue.
Welcome to the metaverse.
Hold it. Are we back?
Yeah, we're back. Chuck is going to lift up the energy in the room.
Whoa. Hi, Jen.
Hi.
I'm not ignoring you.
I'm not afraid.
So how did it even become about where you I know Bridget always wanted to do a horror movie.
Yeah.
How did you guys even come about
Here's
meeting
the
and
case.
how did this movie come about?
Well,
I want the
she doesn't
background.
call it a horror movie. She said, I wanted to make a scary movie. There's always the term scary.
Well, what's the difference between horror and scary?
Well, in horror, I cut people's heads off. And in a scary movie, you just go, ah! Like that. You see what I'm saying? Thank you. So anyway, Kevin Burns from Prometheus. I had done Igor for Monsterama. Dan Roebuck was Dr. Shocker, and I'm Igor. And we did it for Halloween Happy Haunting in America. Kevin Burns is a huge fan. We've known him for like 40 years at that time. He's passed away now, of course.
Yes.
But he called me one day. I'm coming down and I'm like, hey, yeah, Bridget wants to do a scary. He doesn't sound anything like that, by the way. But it sounds good.
Kind of. That was not bad. That was actually pretty good.
Hey. So he's like, Bridget wants to do a scary movie. And I said, okay, whatever. And you've made like 60 horror movies. Yeah. I'm the man. I know everybody. What's up? I wanted to put you on the show of what? Girls Next Door. Okay, I like that show. It's a great show. I love that show. I love Brian. He's great on that show. I would love to meet him. And of course I met you. And then I said, well, I could do it if you want. I said, we can make a movie if you want. And he said, come to my office. I said, I'll come after Christmas. I love Santa Claus. So I go and meet him, and I had to go through. Thank you, Jim, for laughing. Look what I got here. We're on a show. Remember, fake it. Fake it.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. So I had to go through everything. I had to meet with Bridget. Then I had to meet with Holly. Then I met with Kendra. Then I met with Hef. And here's a story a lot of people don't know. When I was on Young and the Restless back in my early days, I was just a kid, like 20-something. And I did the shows that were very famous on Young and the Restless. I played Jake. And they had invited me to the lingerie, like it's over Christmas or wherever it is. And Grant Kramer's like, dude, come with me. It's going to be great. I know Grant Kramer still today. And he went to a lot of the parties in the old days.
Oh, yes, he did.
He's a big family man now.
And his baby.
Yeah, you know that. So I said, I loved you, but I committed to my mom. God bless her. She's in heaven. Every Christmas, no matter where I was at, where we were together. That was the one promise she asked. She said, I don't care about birthdays. I don't care anything else. Christmas, we got to be together. Right. So I said, Grant, I can't do it. I go be with my mom in another state. He goes, okay. Then what happened? The Playboy curse. You know what the Playboy curse is?
You stop going, you start getting invited.
I never got invited again.
That's right.
See?
You say no, and it's no forever now.
No. So I was like, oh, I'm never going to get to go. And I love it. And I drive by the Rock and I go on the Rock and they're like, Chuck Williams, get the heck off our property.
We don't have you on the list, sir.
There's no list. If you're not on that list, you didn't go in.
Chuck Williams who?
Yeah, exactly. We don't care. So I saw Hef later on in years at the convention and he was coming in with his girls. It was at a convention over at Hilton. And I said, hey, I love you. And he was like, just, well, that's great.
Again, Chuck Williams who?
Yeah, he didn't care. So when I got this opportunity for Kevin Burns, he goes, look, be on the show. 20th Century Fox wanted us to do a reality show with you. And this will spring you. It'll be funny. You'll steal the show. Just have fun. So eventually, literally, I got approved to do this the telling movie.
Did you do it?
Yeah, we did it.
Oh, you did the telling movie.
We shot
Did
it.
you do this other show?
No, I turned all that down.
Okay, got it.
I'm funny. I don't need to be on their shows. I said to Fox, I said, nah, that's okay. I turned down a lot of stuff in life. You wouldn't believe it.
Did you guys have a screening of the telling at the mansion?
More than that. Telling there, telling there.
Can I jump on this one, right?
Yeah,
I'll jump out on this. Okay. So Kevin Burns, right? God rest his soul. Really cool dude, man. And we used to, we've told this on other shows that, we would still go up and visit Kevin. And he had manly nights, right? Yeah. And I went there and I brought Bryant, who we've had on the show multiple times. And we brought other butlers, Anthony and so and so. We all went in there. We're all sitting around. So what they do is they would have dinner.
No, they had the buffet.
I'm talking about at Kevin's, right?
Kevin's house.
No, at Kevin's office.
His office.
We would go there and we would, I didn't know that they would always watch an episode of Girls Next Door, right? Yeah. People don't believe me, but I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah.
While that thing aired, I never watched it.
You never watched
it? Zero.
We're in 4,000 episodes.
I did look. I made a promise with myself. I didn't want to look at it because I was afraid if I saw what I looked like or I sounded like, just like you hear your voice, you freak out. You get self-conscious.
Right.
I go, I'm going to be natural. I'm going to be me. Whatever. That was my pact to myself. My mom would always call and tell me, I just saw you. I'm like, cool. What did I do? She goes, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that day. So anyway, back to Kevin.
Yeah.
Titus, who we've had on the show, Titus Hurd, chief editor, mentioned, Kevin, Brian's never seen the Girls Next Door show. And he's like, what?
I'm sure.
And he goes, I've got the one we're doing. And they did the screen, where we did the whole table read in the dining room for the telling.
Remember?
And I didn't know, and I had to act like a Dracula voice or whatever. Yeah. So thank you for that. That was a blast.
That was really fun.
I love it.
It was fun, dude. That was cool.
Brian, could you reenact the Dracula voice for us?
I can easily go into the Dracula voice.
No!
Yes, I can.
That gives me shivers. I can't sleep at night.
I'm looking at Chuck right now thinking, what the feed?
It's the same as Kevin, really, if you look at him the same way.
But also, I want to point out, too, so we get it in.
Yeah.
What shocked me is that Josh Friedman, who is,
I love Josh.
We've had our bartender. Yeah. He's one of the top ADs, if not the number one AD in all of horror.
Well, he AD'd the telling.
Well, he did the telling. All of a sudden, he is in the living room, and he's the AD.
Yeah,
it's so funny to hear him.
Because he used to serve me. The first time I ever had Patron was, when they did the 3,000 people in the backyard of the tents. It was 2,000 women, 1,000 guys. And I'd go to hey, how you guys doing? I always tipped all the bartenders. And they're like, the drinks are free. But I heard you have Patron. Because Josh introduced me the first time. And I'm hooked on it still today. I'm not kidding. I got bottles at my mansion. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. Look at this place. But anyway, the thing is, Josh AD'd for Dan Roebuck on another movie. You know what people don't really talk about? How many of us created a family for the Playboy Mansion?
Thank you once again.
Yeah.
See?
Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're high-fiving you, Jen.
Jen?
High five.
Are you a supermodel? Did we date? Anyway, so the deal is, and is the daughter still in Chicago?
Christy?
Yeah.
Yes. Matter of fact, Christy is no longer involved. None of the children are involved with the company. But we did get to see Christy recently because she came down for our reunion. She flew all the way from Chicago, and thank you again, Christy.
And
that was so sweet of you.
Do you ever have the sons on?
Yeah, we've had Marston. We've had Marston.
Yeah, okay. Don, who did you work in your last movie? Who was the girl?
Julie McCullough.
Yeah, Julie.
Yes, Julie McCullough.
We love Julie. We had Julie on the show too.
Yeah, Don, my producing partner over there, he just put her in a movie. She did great. What's the name of the movie, Don?
It's called Prove Your Love.
Yeah, Prove Your Love. What I do every day. Every day. Prove Your Love. I will. So, going into all that,
my stomach hurts.
You're getting your crunches in.
Thank you. The great news was they had done all those other Playboy movies. And Playboy Mansion was they came in, they brought me upstairs to, I think it was Dick and Mary's up there across the bridge, remember?
Yeah. Dick Rosenzweig and Mary O'Connor.
And they said, we want you to start making Playboy movies. And we know you can do this. I said, yes, I can do it, but I probably won't.
So obviously, as everyone can tell that is listening, I mean, you are very vivacious. You've got a wild, big personality.
I have to.
I love that about you. And that's
you.
what we've always, it's been fun. Every time you used to come to the mansion, we'd have so much fun. We just do this. We'd laugh. Joe Piastro would be there and we'd just be cracking up the whole time.
The whole time.
I mean, just laughing and laughing.
A lot of people don't know that I don't try to tell them, especially the ones that try to buy the tickets to my big shows on HBO and Netflix. You know, I do a lot of stand-up comedy. No one ever shows up, though. You know, don't worry.
Andrew Dice Williams.
You know what? When I met him, thank you very much, he did that whole routine for me the first time I met him in Comedy Store. He's like, oh, hey, Chuck. And I walked in, he goes, Jack and Jill went up the hill. Jill came down with a butt 25. And I went, that's funny. Because that's not the version my mom told me.
So I know when we've been talking, it's like talking about, you know, you produce films, you're a writer, but you said, hey, I'm delving back into acting. Dude, you were in Pirates, right?
Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. I was one of the 12 pirates with Johnny Depp. And we had so much fun. We shot in Hawaii for a month and we shot at Universal's Backlot. I didn't go to Europe and I didn't go to the Caribbean with them, but I was 2 months. I bought my fourth house cash. I'm not kidding. My first residual check on Pirates was $13,000. My first residual.
From Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah, for Pirates of the
What
Caribbean.
did you do for Pirates?
I was one of the 12 pirates in the movie.
Shut up.
Shut up!
Break up.
Jen, she just slapped me.
$13,000 and you got to be a pirate.
Oh, that was just the residual.
I know.
Yeah, it was just residual. Yeah, I'm pretty wealthy.
Jeez, how'd you get
Look
that job?
Wow, hey, people like me.
You've got movies
but
coming out soon, right? Or you're working on movies right now, right?
Well, no, I'm working on a movie right now with Crispin Glover. It's set in the 1970s, and we go back, and this Hef would love this.
Well, Crispin used to come up to all the mansion parties.
Well, you should invite him here. When I see him, you should come on.
Dude,
the show.
we would love to have him.
He doesn't talk very much.
He doesn't talk much, though. He's a pretty quiet guy.
I can kick. You know, remember David Letterman's show? It was crazy. I love Crispin. My walls are black. Anyway.
I think you're killing Jen over there.
Jen, I can't. You better stop talking over there.
Does everybody know in the audience who Crispin is? He was from Back to the Future. He was the
McFly.
McFly. Yeah.
Well, he was at River's Edge,
Well.
which is really big with Keanu Reeves, our buddy, and Daniel Roebuck, who played Samson. But I own the fourth. Rick Baker, me, Smithsonian, and another private collector. I own the fourth Lon Chaney real makeup kit that he used. And Hef was huge into Lon Chaney. This movie is going back to one of Lon Chaney's movies that kind of disappeared. That's what this movie's about. So we go back, we're in the 70s, and we go back to the 20s or 30s, whatever it was. And that's what this film is. I'm with Rob Chase, who I did John Dies at the End with. And, of course, you know, I did Bubba Hotep with Don Coscarelli. You know, those guys, Bruce Campbell. So I'm back into this again because, you know, I did Near Dark, I did Dark Walk, I did all these monster movies.
Speaking of monster movies, because, yes, you're very well known in the horror film industry.
It's huge. And that business.
I know we're going to be doing a show with James Gones. James Gones, who used to work with Playmate Promotions.
Yeah.
He has a podcast that talks all about horror movies.
Oh, that'd be
we
great.
got to get you guys connected.
gotta get them
We got to get you guys connected.
I'd love to be
Larry Stroth is also part of that.
Let's skip my agent and manager because you know what? Jen, I'm doing it for you. Can we have babies together? Can we have children? Because you look very familiar.
I feel like it's coming back to me. Do we know each other?
You wear your name on the back of your belt.
So you're cheating.
And it says Jennifer. Because I remember you. Thank you. I thank you.
Take your word
Jeff,
for
are
it.
you still writing?
I do. I have to write. I
Dude,
literally like Judd Apatow.
I'm going to just pitch it out there. Dude, what if you did like a Rogue Bunny freaking
I think that'd be
movie,
great.
Dude?
Why don't we do a Rogue Bunnies scary movie? We don't want to chop any heads off.
Like really like over the top B style.
And get Julie McCullough.
You know what I mean? B style.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what
I have 67
I learned that
Playboy
world
centerfolds
because
under
of
contract
Josh.
with Rogue Bunnies.
You know, were you in Playboy by any chance?
I was a centerfold.
You know what? I love it because I have you on my wall.
I bet you
That's
don't.
right, Jen.
I bet he doesn't.
You have me on your wall?
I have you on my wall. Jen.
He just admitted he
And
cheated.
Jen, I have you up here all the time. Listen, I'll come back to this show anytime.
She's AWOL, not on your wall.
Oh, she's AWOL.
Yeah.
Listen, you know what? I'm going to say this real quick as we leave. You know, probably wrap it up soon eventually, whatever. Hey, I did all your monster movies like Near Dark. I did that with Bill Paxton, Catherine Bigelow, who won, the Oscar. I've done a lot of horror movies, and all my buddies are like Rob Zombie, Alice Cooper, and all those guys. They're all my buddies. I'm going to do a new horror pirate movie. Don and I, we're going to go to North Carolina and shoot where Blackbeard went down on the boat. That's going to be in 2 years.
Oh, that's cool.
It's going to take like 2 years.
Cool.
Jen, are you close to North Carolina?
Yes, she is.
Julie McCullough's close to North Carolina, too.
Well, you two can come out and hang out on my yacht. It's a real big one.
Can they be pirate babes?
You know what? You could be pirate babes.
What about mermaids?
What about you? I've already fought the mermaids and zombies. You pirates for. I don't. Enough of that. They killed me. But you know what? You can be a pirate girl. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, hey, I need some booty here.
Where's my booty?
I met the gold this time.
That's right.
They're like, we didn't know. There's just 2 famous female pirates.
That's pretty cool.
And there were pirate women that actually dressed up. You thought they were men. It's crazy.
They probably look like men.
Yeah, they're like, "Arr." They're like, "Arr." Don't make me show you my tattoos, Jen. There are places you don't want to watch or see. So, yeah, Brian. So, coming up, I got 10 films I'm doing. You and I talked about doing a film once, remember?
I'd love to. I think it'd be fun.
I think if we get to that pool, anyway,
and
shoot that pool, we got a movie all day long.
So I told Josh, though, the only way I ever do a film is if I get killed.
If you get killed?
I have to be killed.
We can make that
because
happen.
that's part of the
just not in the first scene.
I don't take it serious.
Yeah.
It's just funny to me.
Yeah.
So every movie that Josh has put me in, it's only been a few, but I made sure that there was a big scene that I got killed. I go, if I get freaking killed, I think it's hilarious. It's
we
funny.
have a scene in the pirate movie.
Why don't Jen and Victoria kill me?
Well, here's the deal.
Ooh, I like that.
Sick.
One of the pirates get their head cut off.
I love it.
And
off with his head.
It flips. You could be that.
Freaking A, I would do that.
That would be great.
Dude, that would be so sick.
They kill that pirate. Well, the 2 babes are going to do it. Here's the sword. Thank you. They're like, oh, gosh, I wanted to see that scene.
Hey, Jen, you want to chop my head off?
Yeah.
I mean,
come on.
It's weird, but okay.
She's like, you know what? It's on my bucket list. I'll do it. Hey, from the Playboy Mansion right there.
Oh, you're pointing back to the jukebox.
Oh, yeah, I love that jukebox. I used to go to the game room all the time. You remember Julie? She would come in there and all the people. And I would.
Jill McCullough would just chill out there and play video games.
Well, I would stay till 1 or 2 in the morning just playing out there. While everybody else doing their thing. I was like, but a lot of people didn't know there was 2 rooms off the side of the
we all knew.
Okay, well, now I'm trying to make it mysterious.
Oh, I see.
You slept in there, didn't you? And I remember Julie Strain.
Well, we had the blue room and the red room.
Yeah.
And the van room.
On the one side, and then you had the van room, correct, on the other side.
Remember Julie Strain? She passed away, Julie Strain. Yeah. She would come to the parties. She was a big, like Amazon girl. She was beautiful. I loved her. But I'd always see her in the game room. I'm like, hi, Julie. Oh, hi, Chuck. What are you doing? I'm playing this pinball shit. There's like 2,000 women over here naked. Yeah.
That's what was always funny. I mean, is that people literally ran to the game house to play games.
Yeah, just play games.
They play all. I mean, you had everything from Donkey Kong to was it Miss Pac-Man?
Yeah, you had everything.
We had everything. There's over 1,000 people in the backyard of the mansion at a party, and yet all these people are over at the game house playing games.
Well, the great news was for us.
A little quieter.
We got to shoot the telling 4 days at the mansion, and they quoted us. And this is what they said. They said it's $1 million a day to shoot here. And I said, well, how does a $1.50 sound? And I throw in something. And Hef said, that's fine. And then we shot 4 days at the Bunny House across the street.
Oh, nice.
Remember, he had his old Hef bed from Chicago?
Yeah.
And they had the pole in there. Like Kendra did the pole for me once. And I'm like, what is this? Oh, it's a strip pole. You probably don't know anything about a strip pole. I'm like, oh, it looks good. And then I watched the episode and saying to them, And that's when I met the Doublemint twins, as I call them. Remember the twins?
Shannon twins?
Oh, the Shannon twins, yeah.
I did 2 seasons. I ended up being in 2 seasons going out, remember, for the parties and all that stuff. It was so much fun. And I would go, and I remember when we had the premiere, I sent you those pictures, we had the party at Bordner's. And I remember Hef and the girls came. That's a big deal. Because they would go out on certain nights and go party.
Correct.
This is not when he was with Shannon twins. This is when he was still with Holly and Bridget.
This is not. Shannon's later. I mean, the twins being on the show. And they wanted to be on the film. I'm like, hey, I don't know. Doublemint twins, we'll see. But the thing is that I had Bridget and Holly and Kendra, and they came to the party. And I'm doing this. That's where you see those pictures of me on the Borders. And Borders is a very famous bar, if you remember back in Ed Wood and all that. So I sit them down right there in the corner. I'll never forget this. And I said, Hef, girls, all the drinks, anything you want on me. And Hef was like, well, thank you, Chuck. And I went, I brought my American Express card today. I think I can cover the $13,000 for this drinking. And I remember I walked Holly out. I walked Bridget out to the car, and they came running after me. They said, Chuck, your tab. I'm like, I'm coming back in. Just let me get Bridget in her car. And I came back in, and this is great. They go, you think you can handle it? I said, what's the bill? And they 220. I said, I dropped that on the floor yesterday. And I paid. And I said, I got to take Hef and the girls.
That's cool.
And it was on me. I thought that was cool because
That's a small bill if you think about it.
Well, very small.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it was only $220. I thought it was going to be $1,000 at least. But Hef was always great to me. I'd go up and he'd be like, "Oh, hi, Chuck." One day we're filming at the telling, and they locked the front door and put, "Be quiet, please. We're filming." And I'm the producer, right? I'm like, I shut the door, and Hef's out there with me in his one of his smoking jacket things. And I said, "Oh, Hef, I'm sorry, they're filming. I can't get in." And he goes, "Don't worry. Hey, Chuck, hold on." He opens up his robe, pulls out, I'm not kidding, 85 keys. And he goes, I carry these everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Does he really?
Yeah.
You had that big key.
He has that big key. And he goes, don't worry, Chuck, I got this. And he opens the door, and I went, I'm like, you're too cool, Hef.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure.
Like, he'd be like, well, hey.
And we're going to end with that. Your energy is amazing.
I love you.
We'd love to have you back.
I'd love to be back.
Love to have you back.
Love
And
you.
I'm being serious.
We
dude.
should have him back with Bridget.
Oh,
that'd be
yeah.
great.
We'll bring Bridget on. And then
Bring Nick. I think Nick and Bridget are still together, so bring Nick.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, bring
That'd be
him.
fun.
Bring Nick.
That'd be fun.
He
So
was
how
fun.
does everybody follow you?
Yeah, social media, Facebook, I think it's Chuck Williams. Who is Chuck Williams? I got like 10 sites. You know what I mean?
So Facebook is Who is Chuck Williams?
It's one of them.
Instagram?
Chicks. Oh, I don't know because Instagram turned to X. Didn't it?
No, that's Twitter.
Whatever.
Okay, we'll find you.
Okay, I'm on there.
We'll have to tag you.
Listen, I got to be honest with you. It's very hard for me to get. Facebook's where I really am.
I understand.
But you can find me there. And
you're 93, so.
Yeah, I'm 93. Thank you. Hey, Jen, I love you. She's like, what is this freak doing? By the way, I'm taking the world suit. I'm taking this with me. I brought a Mercedes. Don, put that on the car. Thank you. Thank you for having me, guys.
Chuck, thank you so much.
I love you.
I'm Brian Olea.
I'm Victoria Fuller.
And
I'm Jennifer Pershing.
Oh, and I'm Chuck Williams.
And the mayhem continues.
That
That was good.
Thanks, guys.